What is up, guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. Today we're going to be doing something I don't think I've ever done on the channel before. Today we're going to be doing a 1v1, and not in the typical sense where we're just randomly versing someone from the public. We're actually versing someone of some pretty good caliber. Today we're going to be versing TRL Limitless, or Veloce Limitless as he is known, as a tier 1 split 1 driver in AOR Xbox. So he's right up there with the best in the business, at least on this platform of the game. And, you know, the rivalry between myself and JD, it's gone back many years. Back to when I was racing in ARL, as it was called back in the day. Season 5, I believe, we raced each other quite hard. One particular race in Brazil really stood out for me. We were just banging wheels for the opening few corners of the race, and the rest was history, I suppose. But yeah, he's still racing in AOR at this stage, and now we're going to be facing off against each other in a 1v1 lobby. We typically practice together every so often, and when I do practice with him for that particular track, I end up being quite fast. But here we go for our first race that we're doing. It is the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. 5 red lights, and away we go. Starting from P2 on the grid. Let's see what we can do up against JD. We've actually... oh dear. We've crashed already. Oh dear. Oh no. One corner in and we've already crashed with each other. Thank goodness damage is off for this lobby. We actually are taking this seriously, believe it or not. That was just quite a comedic way for the race to start. JD ran wide through turn 1. I went for the gap, but almost tried to leave him some space and hit the inside wall of Azerbaijan. So that was a little bit annoying, but he decided to let me go through, and we were able to continue on the battle from there. So thankfully we started to get quite serious. So in this lobby we did 4 races, 2 of which we picked the track, and for the first one I decided to pick Baku, and the next one JD picks his track, and you'll see what that is after. But right from the outset I was feeling very confident here at Baku. I've done a lot of practice around here for AOR in the last week or so. The esports series was held around this track as well, so this track is really engraved in my brain, and I just have a really good flow going around here. And JD was, you know, remarking like how late I was able to break into some corners. He just couldn't kind of run with me there, and I just had supreme confidence, and I was able to drive away from JD a little bit, who was really struggling for traction. When I was looking behind, he was, you know, sliding out of most corners, probably smashing down the throttle a little bit too quickly to stay with me. So that was kind of nice to see, just to reassure myself how good the pace was around this track. So it's only a 3-lap race, so you know, fairly short races, but we do have 4 of them, and now we're on the last lap here, just bringing it home through that third to last corner. I really like that corner. It's really easy to make a mistake there, but the risk versus reward just makes it, I don't know, so good to drive through there. So we managed to take the W there. We go 1-0 up against JD. As the second track, he now has his preference, and he has chosen Silverstone, one of his favorite tracks on the entire F1 calendar, one of which he did like 1,000 laps around in F1 2013 is a meme we like to mention a lot. But a 5 red lights, and away we go for the British Grand Prix. And I actually got an absolutely storming start off the line here from P2. I managed to smash past JD and actually get in front of him. So this start was like really crucial. For me to have any chance of beating JD at this track, I had to be in front of him, just to punch that hole in the air, just to give him dirty air and just be that roadblock to prevent him from winning this Grand Prix. Because if he had the track position from the outset, he would have just drove away from me. His pace around this racetrack in particular is absolutely insane. So you'll notice that over the course of this race, right from the outset, JD was in a very attacking mindset, much different to what he was in Baku. I made sure that he just wasn't quite close enough to really attack me, and now you can see already at the end of this first lap we're going defensive into the club section. He goes round the outside. This is like a Limitless versus Matty G moment. I was thinking to myself during the race. We were talking to each other in the party as well, so there was a bit of banter going. But when we were side by side for a lot of these races, the sweat was real. There was absolutely no talking, and the competitiveness of both of us was really starting to shine through. Up the inside again for JD there into turn 3. couldn't quite get the move done. We're just doing enough at this stage to keep him behind, but I feel like it might only be a matter of time before he gets me. His confidence is absolutely sky high around this racetrack, and you can see again, he is on the attack. He goes up the inside into this left-hander, and that might be all she wrote for this race. But I'm going to keep the pressure on. I'm going to see if I can stay with JD, maybe force a mistake and see what can happen there. Running through the Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel section. JD goes in really deep and actually loses the back end. Almost spun out completely, which would have absolutely gifted me the W there. But just managed to hold on there. We're still maintaining a relatively close distance between myself and JD, but as the lap kind of unfolded, he was able to stretch out the gap a little bit. I got a corner cutting penalty, and that was pretty much my chances of winning that race over. So JD gets on the board there and makes it 1-1 in the 1v1 challenge. So fair play to him. His pace around this track in particular was absolutely insane, and then that corner cutting penalty there at the end there, that was just absolute curtains for me. So we're going to move off now to the US Grand Prix, a track that I have chosen as my final one in this one. I could have gone for Monaco and been absolutely savage, but I at least wanted to give a fair challenge around a racetrack. But here we go, up the inside into turn one already. We have been getting great starts in these races as of late, so really coming in clutch for me, running side by side through the S section, and we've actually managed to collide with JD again.
I don't know if there's any golden rule. I can just tell you this is an absolutely unacceptable race for us. In lap 2, our drivers crashing into each other. Unbelievable.
This really has to be the absolute worst 1v1 challenge I've ever seen. Oh my goodness. I think that was my fault there. JD was on my inside, looking at it in post-race editing. You can see he's alongside of the mirrors, and I kind of just eased him off, and I paid the ultimate price there. So, yeah, fair play to JD for waiting up. The battle continued, and we'll see what the pace is like between the two of us. So, this track here isn't essentially going to be a huge advantage for me. I feel like this one is actually going to be quite neutral between the two of us, because when we were practicing for AOR USA last season, the pace between the two of us was fairly similar, and you can see we're side by side right through here. This is absolutely outstanding stuff. JD tries to go around the outside, can't quite make the move stick. The inside line going into that triple left-hander is the ideal line you want to take, because you can get the better exit and the better run off the previous corner, and then you have the inside for that triple left-hander, and the traction through there is horrendous, and if you're on the outside, it's pretty much game over. But running through the final corner there, I got a bad exit, and now JD goes for a lunge. Max Verstappen or Daniel Ricciardo like into turn one. I think he might still be alongside here. So again, this is going to be a carbon copy of what happened on the first lap, but we just managed to edge our nose in front and get the track position. But unfortunately, we have given up a 2-second time penalty. In these 3-lap races, the corner cutting rules are enforced very, very strictly. You can be given a penalty even with just one corner cutting warning, so unfortunately that might be curtains for me unless JD has a corner cutting warning himself. But going through the final corner again, 4th gear, I turned in earlier this time to get a better exit, but it was just shocking. Like, the drive through there is absolutely horrendous, and now JD's got a fantastic run heading up to turn 1. He has the inside line. We're gonna have to brake really late, maybe do the switchback to get the position back. That's what we're trying to do. 2nd gear, launch it off the corner, bit of wheel spin in 3rd gear there, so unfortunately wasn't able to draw alongside JD there. So for this final lap here of this US Grand Prix, we're going to have to sit in behind him, and this is actually our preference of track. So if we don't win here, this is like a massive advantage for JD. It's like in tennis when, I don't know why I'm referencing tennis, but it's when you break serve. You don't want to lose on your preferred track, so got to get back in front of him if I can. We'll run in really deep here into this hairpin that leads onto the straight. JD didn't brake as late as what I did, and I got on the power quite nicely there, rotated the car and got on the power very early. DRS, rich revs, everything is flowing here, and we'll see if we can get up the inside. He covers that fairly nicely, so JD knows the preferred line heading into this 3rd sector. We tap wheels as well in the braking zone, looking to go around the outside. Don't quite have the traction or the turn in to do that. We have the inside for the next right-hander, but this is probably the unpreferred side you want to be on. I tried to dive to the inside, but JD has that covered off. Goes in really deep. His car is all over the place, and I can't get in front of him. He just parks his car right in the right area, and he maintains the lead of the US Grand Prix. This was my favorite battle of all of the races that we did so far. It was so evenly matched between the two of us, and I feel like if this was a 5-lap race or a 25% race, I think it would have gone right down to the wire as well. So, well done to JD. I don't believe he had any corner cutting penalties as well, so I don't think it would have mattered even if I did finish in front of him on track, but it would have been nice to do so anyway. But here we are for the final race of the video. We're off to Japan. I think this is JD's favourite track, so he saved this one till last, and I actually feel like I'm pretty decent at Japan, but unfortunately I didn't load the right setup for this race, but nevertheless we will make do with what we have. 5 red lights and away we go. I'm actually losing my voice already, such has been the intensity of this video. Must be said as well, it's been a while since I've done a commentary. But anyway, going through turn 1, it was pretty uneventful. JD managed to maintain the lead. He got a really nice start. Most of his starts so far today have been pretty dreadful, but he managed to get the jump on me for that one. So we'll see what his pace is like. Well, my pace is like following him in the dirty air on this first lap. You can see we're washing away a little bit, losing about, I don't know, half a second, 6/10 on this opening lap here. And you can just see I'm struggling with the performance of the car. I just didn't quite have the confidence. I should have gone with like a 1.9 wing setup and 11 ballast, but unfortunately, like I said, I loaded the wrong setup. It was 2.8 wings, 10 ballast, bit of a conservative setup, and even with that, I wasn't driving properly, and my pace was just absolutely dreadful. And in the one-shot qualifying race, one-shot qualifying that we did before this, JD actually managed to beat his PB from last season in AOR practice, which was absolutely insane. So he was absolutely on it like a car bonnet in his final events, and there was absolutely no way I would have been able to top him there. But there we go, it's P2. JD wins the 1v1 series 3-1. It was pretty close between the two of us, and I will certainly take that up against a split one driver in AOR Xbox. The pace was quite similar, and I actually might have been able to win if I would have stayed a little bit closer to JD and didn't overdrive the car. He got a 2-second time penalty, which made things very, very close. But guys, that's been this video for today. Let me know what you thought. Should I 1v1 other people in the community? I know JD is going to continue his series and 1v1 other people, so if you want to catch up on some of his videos, I'll leave his link down in the description. He makes F1 videos, he does AOR, like league racing videos as well, races up against the Flying Finn, and overall makes some pretty good content. So check out his channel, link in the description. Thank you so much for watching. Until the next one, I'll see you next time.